The restaurant business is not for the faint of heart or stomach. They have a high failure rate, but knowing why can help prospective owners avoid a similar fate. Did you know around 60% of new restaurants fail within the first year? I don't mean to discourage aspiring restaurateurs out there or to lower the morale of the current ones, but I do believe that prevention is better than cure. So here is my very honest review: why last night was a failure and the ways to remedy the problem, from your favorite food blogger, Hungry Hijabi, aka I was Sophia last night. So this is Sophia's and Natalie's reunion at Afrikana. I hadn't seen my good friend Natalie in almost 2 years. I still can't quite believe that at least 18 months of that time was due to the pandemic. Ugh. I had arranged for the kids to stay at home with Hungry Husband as they watched the Euros, Portugal and France play, whilst enjoying their Hungry Husband's awesome chicken and potato curry, as well as my Cajun chicken creamy pasta dish for extras. They clearly had a great fun night on the sofa, something I envy a lot. Or maybe it was missing Ronaldo kicking a ball while screwing Coca-Cola out of 4 billion is what we were really missing out on. But I had to see Natalie as I missed her so much. I missed her beautiful tigress long sweeping eyes that seem to always appear teary-eyed when she sees me and hugs me, telling me how cute I am. I was craving her cuddles, so I picked her up and we drove to the restaurant of choice, which, by the way, I booked the day before. I was told I had to arrive promptly or else they would cancel my booking if I was 10 minutes late, as they are extremely busy. Cheeky buggers, because look what happened next. So of course we turned up 15 minutes early. That gave us enough time to take lots of selfies, as you do. And Natalie loves posing. She has this cool sense of Bengali supermodel looks, walking up to the camera, so sassy. So we did a few of those on Kingsland High Street. I don't mind. I am, of course, a brilliant photographer after all. Because we talk so much, we didn't realise that actually we had been waiting 1 hour outside queuing up, wondering why on earth did we bother booking? Apparently, Sophie and Natalie's booking wasn't even on the book. Like, what? Natalie insisted, telling the manager who I was. And I'm like, no way are they going to find out that Hungry Hijabi had been waiting for 1 hour outdoors. That wouldn't be fair as to what may happen next. Genuinely, I don't like being given special service because of who I am online. If I was like that, I'll probably be pasting my face all over Instagram. Rule number 1, all diners need to be treated fairly. So instead, I spoke to the manager who was at the door and said, I bet if I was a food blogger, you would treat me differently. To which he replied, no, sorry, I wouldn't. I actually don't have any tables for you, whether you're a blogger or not. So I said, let's see about that. But actually, really, there was no tables for us or anybody else. And there were plenty of people waiting way before us. They had arrived at 8 o'clock. So what chance did I have? Fat chance. Talking about fat chance, I waited 12 days for this day. I starved myself from carbs and sugars just so I could have a decent meal without having to worry about calories. So you can imagine how eagerly hungry I was to eat. I'm not sure if it was because of our patience or that I was standing with one of East London's most finest Bengali solicitor, Natalie, but the manager was kind enough to let us in and seated us at the table right beside the door, which, to be honest, was not a problem had the weather not become a bit chilly. But don't worry, I won't be a typical Brit and complain about the British weather. But obviously we did. We ordered very quickly because we sensed that the food would take a long time, as we saw many of the others who came before us still waiting for their orders. So the choice of food was not a big deal for us because at this point we just wanted to eat something, even if it was a bite of a carrot stick. Okay, maybe not a carrot stick. The drinks came and they arrived 40 minutes after we had sat down, and I am very honest about these drinks. They were delicious. And I understand that in 2021, how could you get a mojito wrong? But trust me, many restaurants do. So if I had to score the drinks for you, I would definitely score the drinks 10 out of 10. And knowing that they didn't know who I was, they treated us really well. The drinks were sugary sweet, which I like, because you guys know how much of a sweet tooth I have, and no alcohol on site. One waiter in particular seemed to have had a liking for my Natalie, so bottomless drinks for us was definitely the highlight of our very long evening. 3 hours. Allow me to tell you some more. Of course, being chatty women, we had a lot to catch up on, so that would explain how the time went very quickly. The decor was stunning. I could not fault it at all, although I must confess the lighting was quite poor for photography and videography of the food. Considering I've got the latest iPhone, which has a brilliant camera, or shall I say 3, the lighting could have been a lot brighter, but perhaps that was my own fault for not saying, hey, I'm a food blogger, do you even know who I am? Because perhaps they dedicate a special area or something with brilliant lighting. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But anyhow, as we chatted some more and waited another hour for our food, we noticed a lot of noise. There was a lot of noise erupting from both downstairs, and by the way, they've got downstairs eating area, and upstairs where I was. Tears of distress, anger from hunger, patience turned into sorrow, crying sisters in hijab. Not that the hijab was significant in this review, and almost like a lion's roar from brothers. A lot of people were not happy. They had been waiting 3 hours for their meal and a drink that was just not going to be enough. Natalie and I felt the same, but because we had each other's companionship, we were okay. Not that I'm justifying that waiting for 3 hours is okay, because it isn't, but we were still happy to wait for our food. Many of the waiters came to us, and I don't know why they were so kind to us, because I didn't tell anyone who I was. Perhaps our patience shone through. As a mother, it goes without saying, I'm extremely patient. Being married to a hungry husband, I'm extremely patient. So this was not too much of a big deal for me, because if I'm honest, it was actually my first time experiencing this kind of catastrophe. Perhaps it was a little bit of an entertainment for me on my night out. I was just so shocked. We could only sympathise with those who had been waiting. I even saw some sisters who were fasting as I could hear them, so they were very tired. We saw the kitchen, because it's an open kitchen upstairs, and there was only 3 chefs at the back, and we instantly knew that this was a kitchen issue, because how can you have amazing staff and customers pouring through the front door, but at the same time have customers leaving crying and angry? We definitely knew at this point that this was a kitchen issue. 3 chefs would just simply not be enough. There were lots of bills lined across their kitchen, so we knew how many tables they had not served, and similarly there were platters and platters of food being cooked, but none were taken to the tables because people had left. So last night, for the first time in my life, I witnessed tons and tons and tons of food being binned, to a point where I actually wanted to cancel my order and eat the food that was being sat and wasted away. I didn't even mind taking some food for the kids for after school the next day. What I was witnessing right now in front of my eyes was shocking. It was heartbreaking, and my eyes were staring in horror. I don't even let my boys throw away 1 grain of rice, because my mother taught me that God would be very angry, and that there are many starving people out there, and that food is also a test for us too. Poor staff management, that's exactly where to pin the blame. If you are unable to manage your staff, in this case it was the slow and problem chef, it will ultimately lead to a bad customer experience and increase in costs for the restaurant, and overall become dysfunctional. In actual fact, last night was should have been the restaurant's most successful night in terms of number of people that came in, probably estimating 8k to be precise, but due to the people walking out of the restaurant, I reckon they poured 4K of food down the bin. Well, that's what it appeared like. Poor staff management also leads to out of control labour costs. Many were exhausted and shattered, and this is definitely one of the biggest expenses in the restaurant business. But it's my place to tell you that all of this just happened in one night, coincidentally, when I was there. But because nobody knew who I was, and honestly it was a shock to my system, I was not angry and nor was I sad. I would say I was disappointed. I just couldn't help them, and I couldn't help but feel sorry for the team, because honestly speaking, the staff were brilliant. 10 out of 10. They were so patient. It's like me having a nervous breakdown in the kitchen, but my children having to tell you guys that everything's okay when it's not. I mean, do you really actually realize that it is the waiters who have to take all the battering from the customers? If you thought I was patient waiting for my food for 3 hours, imagine what the staff went through. Patience of saints. That's the phrase that would suit them the best after last night. A few of the staff came to us and said, "Please leave, your food will not arrive now, and when it does, it will get cold." But we were so hungry, and it was nearing 12 p.m. at night, a.m. at night, so no other restaurant would be open for us. So we just felt like we would just wait for our meal. I should have gone home with Natalie, to be honest, and fed her hungry husband's chicken curry with a side of nugget, with tomato salad, and maybe some shemai with a cup of sa. Ugh, that's hindsight for you. Damn you, hindsight. I did, however, pull one of the waiters to our table and asked him, "Can you please be honest?" And he started whispering and asking if I was Bengali. I mean, at this point, I don't know if I should have taken that as a compliment or not. If we didn't look Bengali, or Bengali, then what did we look like? When he whispered, "Are you Bengali?" I couldn't help but whisper back, "Yes, I am." And Natalie then whispered to him, "Do you even know who I am?" And I had to give her a little nudge with my elbow because I sensed she was going to spill the beans on me. And I knew that's exactly what she was about to do next. "Don't you dare," I whispered back at her, also trying to whisper at him. "Yes, I am Bengali." So he said, "Go home, just go home. Your dad makes better food than what you will receive today." I chuckled grievously for just like 10 seconds, as neither Natalie and I didn't have our fathers around. Quickly changing the tune, "The food must be awful," we both said, looking at each other in disappointment. Natalie then whispered to him, as he was a very sweet boy, "She's a foodie, and you're never gonna guess who she is." And he replied, "Go on then, I'm waiting." Pun intended. So I was like, he won't know who I was, because I'm not one of those followers who goes around telling people who I am. I also believe that not everyone in East London actually follows me. Probably like 0.07% of East London's population. I like to pay for my food, and I like to give private reviews because, you see, I feel like honesty really is gold. I find it incredibly difficult to eat for free and then give a great review when I didn't actually enjoy the food or the service. And I know that is one of the reasons why many of my hungry followers respect me, and my husband for that matter, for our honest reviews. I mean, think about it. How do you eat for free and then say, "I didn't like it," and then you're expected to post it, and you wonder what the point of an invite was for all those 200 of photos and videos on your phone? I mean, as a mum to 5, I can really understand and empathise with those who may not have that much money to spend on eating outdoors. So I do feel like a responsible blogger or influencer, if you want to call me that. I don't really like being called an influencer, But yeah, I feel like it's my responsibility to tell you guys not to waste your money. Although I totally understand that perhaps sometimes food can be a personal taste. For example, I don't really like Thai food, but you might like Thai food. So perhaps it may not be my place to say if a particular Thai place is great or not. But no way am I going to run this place to the ground because of one night. And this is the purpose of my review today. Great people, i.e. the staff in this restaurant, deserve to have a second chance, but only if they actively continue to make the necessary changes. I'm a mother where I share food recipes every single day on my platform. I can't really say that I am a restaurant critic. I do feel like majority of the restaurants serve okay-ish food, but nothing amazing. And we choose to go there because we just simply want a break from cooking ourselves or just fancy a night out. I'm one of those who feel that you can make amazing food at home with high quality ingredients. So I will always big up and rave home cooks and chefs. That goes without saying. But we have to understand that for every review I put out there will be maybe 10 people, 100 people that will choose to follow me and listen to me and go out and eat for themselves because they may find that they listen to my opinions and reviews, and my responsibility lies with you guys, so my heart cannot lie to you guys. I think the issue of last night is that the kitchen was not right. It was not fit for purpose. Everything else will fail, and the staff knew that as well. I guess you could compare it to the home. The core of the home is the mother. And when your mother is not right, the home will not be right. And by extension, we can apply the same to the role in society. The core of society are its women. And when the women are okay, everyone else will be okay. And it's crucial to have strong women, I suppose. Strong women, strong mothers, and a strong kitchen. You've got to have them put together. If the chef is having a tantrum, the food will not taste good, so your standards go out the window. As a result, the restaurant suffers, and because nowadays everything immediately gets uploaded online, it gives a really poor image to the restaurant, especially when they are new. Undoubtedly, they will suffer from teething problems, but perhaps not as extreme as last night. Now, that was one of a kind. I have never been to a restaurant and see so many customers leaving, considering I had waited 2 hours to be seated myself. It was almost like, hey, Hungry Hijabi walked in and everyone's leaving. Even the music went off when we were seated. It was almost an offence to me, so I could completely sympathise with the restaurant. Okay, so at this point, we have this sweet waiter in shock. Oh my days, you're Hungry Hijabi. I'm talking to a celebrity, oh my days. Bless him. No son, I'm Sophia and this is Natalie. We have come to dine. Forget Hungry Hijabi. And he says jokingly, hungry who? Knowing who I was, he was completely shocked and surprised, and all he kept saying was, I can't believe it's you, I can't believe it's you, I can't believe it's you. I did chuckle, I must admit, but truthfully, I'm quite shy face to face, and I'm always paranoid. That always goes without saying. But no one else knew who I was, and all I can say is that the staff were extremely nice to us, irrespective of who we were. So what ended up happening towards the end is they all ended up gathering on our table, drinking and eating and talking about the mess of the evening. But we spoke about the positives, and there were many amazing staff, and I do feel like it's always the people that will win you over in the end. There was no sense of arrogance from them, and they admitted to their wrongdoings. I knew what the issue was. I knew they had to rectify it. They need a new chef, and jokingly the waiter asked if I was interested, but obviously they could not afford the Hungry Hijabi prices, £1,000 a night, and I'm all yours. Hint, hint. I had advised them that I really would have appreciated that they didn't let me in the restaurant, and that after 8 p.m. they should have just shut their doors. They could have easily have given us a free voucher or something for next time, and we would have had enough time to dine elsewhere. Had I been the manager last night, I would have done just that, because if I knew that my kitchen was failing and slow and there was issues with the food as well, I would just deal with those who were sat down and not let anyone else in. And I'm certain that the manager in hindsight agreed with me too. You see, hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Why was my booking not made in the books? I do not have a clue. But the manager was also told me that he would definitely not allow for this to happen again, and there needs to be a system in place where perhaps those seating need to be given a time limit, so a 45-minute time limit to eat once served, because the restaurant is just so busy, and customers need to understand that unfortunately after the meal chats could not continue. We identified that the food was cold, and because of this reason we did not have to pay, and to be honest, that wasn't representative of a normal night. The food I ordered, half of it did not even arrive, and the other half were of completely wrong flavors and orders altogether. But because we were so hungry, we just ate. So if I had to recommend 2 items of the menu that I tried, I would definitely say the okra fries. It was so good. And my pistachio bomb ice cream was out of this world. I would genuinely give it 20 out of 20. One of the first items that arrived on our table, even though we wanted to have all the food come together, was the lamb chops, and because we were so hungry, we just went right in. Those of you who follow me know how much I love my red meat, and I was really disappointed to have bitten into what appeared to be a burnt yet soft chop, absolutely bland and flavorless. I was actually really sad for the lamb. We had to go through that. I don't know how many countless times we have cooked chops at home, whether it was a curry or a barbecue, but I've never had a chop taste so distasteful. So that was really sad actually to let it go. I was really disappointed, and something as simple as salt, garlic, chili could have rectified it. And that's all you really need on a grilled chop, because the texture was perfect inside the lamb chop. But unfortunately, whatever process it went through, it definitely got a battering all right, and it was just so disappointed. A big letdown. I have read countless reviews of the chicken online, but as my chicken had arrived cold and of a complete other flavour, I can't really recommend the chicken this time, but I definitely will take up the restaurant's offer to dine my family and I again next time. So I look forward to giving an honest review again. Hungry Husband is so excited to visit, as they happen to have called my business number this morning and conversed with him. This is him. "Hey, I'm just here for the food," he responded. There were 3 bottles of sauces on our table, and one of the chili sauces I had tried I personally did not like. I found it extremely hot, but also quite bitter and powdery. The sweet potatoes were exactly how any other restaurant would serve them, but mine arrived cold. The chicken bites were of great texture, crunch and crispiness. However, I did not really enjoy the sauce that came with it. It seemed to be a cheap vinegary chili sauce mixed with a thick mayo, which was not to my liking at all. So if you are planning a visit to this restaurant, I would definitely advise just to hold back a little bit and come back maybe in the month of July, so that they have some time to fix a few of their problems. Overall, I would rate the service 10 out of 10 in terms of the waiters. The drinks 10 out of 10. You'll not usually get a bottomless drink, but we were treated very well because of our patience, suppose, and they were really good. So the deco, again, I give it 10 out of 10. However, I must add, if you do get a chance to use the toilets downstairs, the tap is of a fountain style and it's hilariously larger than the sink. So when you turn it on, all the water pours out onto the floor, which clearly needs to be rectified. It was really funny because at that point, I was just feeling so sorry for the restaurant that I didn't actually get to record the toilet for you. If you are a foodie or a food blogger and you would like to take photographs, then definitely ask for a location where they have good lighting, because where we sat, it was very dark. I guess I can't really comment on the food because it was directly related to a chef's very bad day. So until next time, where I will be hopefully able to judge it once improvements have been made, I will not be scoring the food. But what I can say is I'm feeling really hopeful because the company is a franchise and many people speak well of it. I can fully see that the restaurant doing really well as people are pouring in to visit. From what I could see, the customers were made up of mainly Muslim South Asians and Afro-Caribbean. If you are going to ask me, is the food authentically Caribbean, I will say no. And exactly what is the cuisine? Because I was asking that myself as well. I would say it's a mixture of Nando's meets Caribbean, and they do sell steaks and burgers, both of which I'm not a huge fan of. I do really rate a really good curry goat, by the way, with rice and peas, but I have still not yet heard of a raving review about it yet. There is definitely room for improvement with such valuable staff. I really feel like the place deserves a second chance, and if they can rectify all the problems from last night, then they can definitely have something special going for them. The restaurant has been open for about 6 weeks now, and considering all the teething problems that Afrikana has experienced, I can see that this will be a very successful place in the near future. Location is always the number one reason why a restaurant can be successful, and I think they were onto a winner when they grabbed this place. And just how location can just be one of the many reasons why the restaurant business is not for the faint of heart is just one more thing piled onto a mountain of obstacles that includes inconsistent food and poor kitchen staff. If you are one of those who have been reading negative reviews on various social media platforms, TikTok being number one, then I would definitely urge you to be patient like we were last night and pay them a visit from the month of July. I am hopeful that they will recover because negative reviews will not stop people from pouring into the doors. Take it from me, what I witnessed last night, that many people were patient enough to come back, and that's because they were all desperately wanted to try this place. The people will come. All I'm saying to you guys is give them a little time to heal, but don't give up on them just yet, because they really do deserve another opportunity once they rectify the kitchen. And perhaps this is a stark reminder to regain some dignity back as well. If you are one of those who love to follow restaurant review bloggers, then perhaps reconsider what you read all the time. Eating for free and then giving a good review on what was maybe not so good is not really dignified or honest at all, because you will be wasting a lot of people's money. Right now, in this financial climate, many singles and families do not have that kind of disposable income to waste on food that is not up to standard. And that is why I am always honest with you guys. And this is where ethics come into this. When it comes to reviewing, you have to have honesty and principles. And let me allow you into a little secret. I was actually offered to review this restaurant, but as Natalie was eager to eat here, we went as ourselves and not as bloggers. Hence why they did not know who I was. And just because I felt so sorry for the restaurant last night, I really felt compelled to give this review, because there's a lot of awful lot being said about them online, and somebody needs to stand up for them. And as I happened to have been there last night, I feel like in a way it's my responsibility to say that, hey, this was a bad night because there was a difficult kitchen last night, and we can't deny it. We have all been in that situation. And no, I don't mean to say running our own restaurant, but our home is a good example that actually there will be good and bad days, and we have all had problems where sometimes we may not be able to face our guests. Trust me, I have had dinner parties where I have not been talking to hungry husband, but we pretend to smile and joke in our pretense, we end up actually making up. So actually it's not all that bad. Consistency is everything. So I feel that the restaurant will recover and they will be able to get into a position where they will constantly and consistently bring out good food. We just need to give them a little bit of time. And of course I sympathise with all those that left angry last night, and I definitely agree, if I had been manager I would have given them a free meal for next time, but only once the mistakes have been rectified. I wouldn't bring my children here if I'm totally honest. For me, I didn't think that it's a family-friendly environment. That's just my honest opinion. If I did, maybe between the hours of 3 to 6 p.m. and request for the music to be lowered without causing any offence, I just felt it's not appropriate for my kids. On that note, a family-friendly session would be highly recommended by Hungry Hijabi, or shall I say Sophia. They would definitely benefit and gain a lot of respect. Like, for example, Sunday hours, 2 to 4 p.m. Happy family hours. Take note, Afrikana. I'm really glad that in the end they offered us their desserts, because the pleasure of this place really is the desserts, and the drinks were definitely their star of that show last night. And if I ever was walking by or driving by, because I don't think you will see me walking through Dalston anytime soon, I would definitely stop by for a portion of okra fries with their pistachio ice cream bomb ice cream, because frankly speaking, that was definitely bomb.com. I hope Afrikana are watching or listening to this, and if you are, just know that Hungry Hijabi has your back, and I can't wait to see you guys again soon. And I'm actually getting really excited because we've been promised to dine with the owner of this place. So Afrikana, we shall see you very soon again. So I know you guys have been desperately wanting to see what's inside the box. This is some of the leftovers I brought home for the kids. Check out my plating up. What do you think? I think I could actually work at Afrikana's. Presentation is everything, but of course, food always comes down to the taste. And now that I've heated it up, the food is actually piping hot. It's not too bad. I definitely think Afrikaners can go such a long way if they just tweak a little few things. Black, burnt, bitter, no salt, no pepper. The sauce is cheap chili mixed with cheap mayo. I mean, yeah, it's soft, but it's definitely not my sort of lamb chop.
Let me do it with the lady fingers and get rid of the stupid thing. Dessert too. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'll come with my husband.
This one's a food blogger, that's why it's like, yeah. Ooh, I'll move this for you. There you go.
It's just that she was on the right, innit?
Oh yeah. And what am I meant to cut? You're directing me. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'll do this one.
I can't deny how beautiful it is, though.
You take one of me walking.
Oh, you and you're walking. Ooh, it is very nice and cozy here. I'm just off to the toilets. Somehow I ended up being the last one out, and they still don't even know who I am. Or maybe they do.